Hey there, YouTube. Tonight I'm gonna explain the 2013 March ban list because a lot of people have been freaking out. A lot of people are quitting or saying they're gonna quit because the ban list is trash and whatnot, and blah 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 blah. But I've been playing this game for a very long time, so I think I can explain the ban list and get people to better comprehend and understand why Konami did what they did and why it's not going to be so detrimental towards a lot of other decks like people think it is. So, alright, here we go. Let's pull up ban list. Okay. The first card that a lot of people really got really pissed off about was Sangan. He was like, they banned Sangan, man. That's freaking trash. Why in the hell would they do that? Well, I'll tell you why they banned Sangan. I mean, think about it. Sangan is pretty wretched. When I started playing back in the day, like 2002, people were running Sangan, Witch of Black Forest. Witch of Black Forest was taken out a long, long, long time ago, just because you can get practically any card in your deck and add it to your hand. It was just too busted. As years pressed on, Sangan wasn't really a huge threat because there really wasn't any super awesome monsters that had less than 1500 attack. See what I'm saying? Even when Stratos came out, he had 1800, so you couldn't really search that with Sangan. But then cards got a little bit more. Well, Konami got a little bit more innovative with monster cards that was searchable with Sangan. A good example would be any of the windups. You can search any of the windups with Sangan. I believe. Let me check real quick. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can search any of the windups with Sangan, which is pretty busted. That's one reason why windups was so busted in the first place. They had Zenmaity, Sangan, Magician, Shark. You can go first, like open hand, first turn, like Shockmaster, Zenmains. It was busted. And then Zenmaity, like first turn, it was busted. And people's like, well, and if you look at Daggum and Sectors, Sangan was pretty effective in Sectors. So like, well, I mean, it was like you can get like a lot of cards. You can get Centipede. Besides Centipede, you can practically get any card that you needed um, from Sangan and Sectors. I mean, think about it. Sangan speeds up a lot of decks, especially in Agents, with Sangan, because I run Chaos Agents myself, and I can even vouch that Sangan is really busted in Chaos Agents because you go first turn Sangan, search out Earth, get Venus, Shine Ball, go out to Wazoo, tune, Venus and Earth, get Catastor, and just go off, you know. And then since you have two monsters in the graveyard, banish one, Hyperion, it's busted. And see, and then that's another reason why Konami banned Sangan. A lot of people don't really understand this concept, and I don't know why, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, the format is ridiculous on how fast-paced this game is. Like, it's just unreal. Like, the format is just so fast. You're like, bam, turn over. It was just unreal. It was just way too fast paced. And so Konami wanted to slow down the format. That's what the whole idea behind banning Sangan was to slow down the format. Because now if you think about it, they took Sangan out, so it's relatively difficult to go first turn Shockmaster. But we'll get more to windups because everybody knows they got ripped. The next card on the list will be Zenmaity, the first XYZ band ever in history of the world. Now, Zenmaity was really easy to make. 2 level 3s, and it was a generic. That's what was so crazy about it. It was a generic level 3. So people were like, wow, that's busted. Okay. And when you special summon him, when a you can detach, special summon another wind up from your hand or deck, which is even more busted. And you can just go off like a freaking wazoo. Okay? Now, people's like, well, it ain't that powerful, which Zen Meiji by itself is not that busted. It's just, by itself is not. Let's go to the next card, Magician. Magician is busted. With Zen, Meiji, and Magician, it just, you can go first turn, literally, you can open up with a Shockmaster, a Zen Meiji, and a Zen Mains. Opening hand. With Wind Up Shark, Magician, and Zen Meiji. You can just, it was busted. Okay. Wind Up Magician, when a Wind Up monster effect is activated, you can special summon one level 4 lower Wind Up monster from your deck and face up defense position. So think about it. Okay. Go into Zen Meiji. Get Magician out in the field. Discard, remove a XYZ material. Special summon another XYZ. Special summon another wind up from Zen Meiji's effect. And then Magician's effect hits. Special summon another level 1, one level 4 lower wind up monster from your deck. And, it was just way too busted. It is obvious. I knew they were going to ban Zen Meiji. That wasn't a doubt in my mind. It really surprised me they did put... it really did surprise me, but they put Magician at 1. I figured they would have put it at 2, because if y'all recollect, or if y'all are old enough to know, traditionally, Konami never went from having 3 monsters to 1, or 1 to 3. Generally, they always, something was at 3, they'd move it to 2, they'd move it to 1. Like Solemn Warning, for example. Solemn Warning was at 3, then 1, 2, now it's at 1. Magician went from 3 straight to 1, which is rare for Konami to do. That is kind of a branch out. So we talk about Wind Up Magician, and Zen Meiji and Sangan. See what else we got. One Day Apiece. One Day Apiece was just so busted. People with especially the Exodia decks. Exodia got like first in the world, by the way, with freaking One Day Apiece. Nobody takes any damage of any kind. Each person draws a card. It was just way too broken. Especially having 3, it was just stupid. But that's why they limit that 1, because even if you put it at 2, it would still be too busted. Because there's enough Wabakus and enough Threatening Wars that want 2 1 day apiece, or 2 1 day apieces would still be very effective and efficient. So that's why they put out 1. Because if you had 2, it would still be very, very effective. See what else they got. Thunder King Ryo's at 2. Whatever. I run Chaos Agents. I've only run 2. You rarely see people run 3 King Ryos, so that doesn't really affect anybody. But the reason they put it at 2 is because there's so many cards that promote adding cards from the deck to the hand. And a lot of people want to do inherit special summons, such as XYZ, Synchro, yada, yada, yada. So that's why I put it to try to limit that. Okay. And then Tsukiyomi, that was at 1. They banned it for some reason. Apparently people were abusing flip effects. I don't really think so. Then they put it at 1. Now it's at 2. And I still don't see anybody using it, so I doubt that's even going to make a comeback. But whatever. Advanced Ritual Art is at 1. Advanced Ritual Art is at 2. Sorry. Advanced Ritual Art is actually really busted. Especially if you like to run, Relinquished, Herald. Advanced Ritual Art was just really busted. Really good card. Very, very, very good. Very effective. So putting it at 2, I think will slow down some of the ritual decks. Even though they're not really tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3. It's just they can be busted at the right time in the right place. And I think they've kind of caught on that people were kind of, testing. Like, I have a Relinquished Chaos deck, and it's busted. So, once again, Advanced Ritual Art, putting that 2 slows the format down. If you look at all these cards, it slows down the format. Like Advanced Ritual Art, it went to 2. This helps slow down ritual summons. Thunder King Ra goes at 2. Stop negating your opponent's, inherit summons. Psalm Warning went from 2 to 1 because Psalm Warning is busted. You can negate any kind of summon of anything, and you don't want to. So many people would run Psalm Warnings, and your opponent would try to go off, and then you just destroy their whole field because a lot of them would just, try to hold out, and they'll get like 4 level 4s and trying to go into a 1 exceed, and bam, Psalm Warning, you just lost your whole field. It took forever to build up. But, Psalm Warning, going down to 1, slows down the format for the person that's using Psalm Warning. And it helps out the person, it helps out your opponent a little bit. So it kind of equals out a little bit. 1 day apiece, going to 1. I know this doesn't make any sense how 1 day apiece would slow down the format, but it slows down the format because you can't do any damage. If you can't do any damage, you can't take out your opponent. So putting 1 day apiece at 1 slows down the game. Wind Up Magician slows down the format for wind ups. So does Zen Meiji and Sangan. There's also slow down the format. Now, and for me looking at the new ban list, that's kind of how I feel that they went with. That they wanted to slow down the format a little bit because it's just way too fast. Now we can go to the no longer limited. Kalut. I think Black Wings may make a comeback, may not. That's kind of like up in the air. Well, I'm actually really curious to see how that works out. Lumina is at 3 now. I don't really think Light Sworns will make a huge comeback. I think maybe Light Tray may be more prevalent now because of Lumina. Maybe some Light Sworns may come back a little bit, but Light Sworns has so much milling power. Milling is actually a disadvantage in the format, in the now formats. Back when Light Sworns first came out, it was busted. But now, milling isn't the most effective type of strategy anymore. Spore is at 3. See, Spore, this is like another thing that, Konami went from having 1 to 3. So that was kind of rare. But even Spore at 3, maybe with Longfire Blossom, it might make a pretty good comeback, but there's no telling. This is what really surprised me. Shin Smoke Signal they put at 3. That really surprised me. I actually think that 6 Samurais are going to make a really big comeback because they have 3 smoke signals now. They have Gateway. They have Aroda. The reinforcement of the army. It's just, wow. So that's really all they had to really, say for the ban list. And let's go to, the other parts. People's like, why didn't they ban Monster Reborn? Why didn't they limit, MST? Why didn't they ban, BLS? I'll tell you why. Because if you take out BLS, a lot of decks that depend on Chaos, strategy will be done. Because Chaos Sorcerer cannot take the weight. Without BLS. Just won't happen. Won't work. Okay, Monster Reborn. The reason they keep cards like Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, and whatnot, stuff of that nature, is to sorry, someone's calling me. The only reason they do that is because decks that don't have a super awesome, loop, like the Marmels, they have a really good loop. Samurais, Agents, just there's decks out there that have really good loops. And decks that don't have those loops, cards like Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Mirror Force, Torrentials, they help out decks like that, but don't have a super awesome, go off and loop, swarm the whole field, and 1 turn knockout. So cards like that helps those other decks, and that's why they didn't ban any of them. So that's probably the best and probably one of the most accurate, explanations behind the ban list. When they come out of ban list, always look at what you can do different. Like, okay, well, they take, like, for my Chaos Agents, I'm like, crap, they took out Sangan, and I got to go to, I'm like, okay, what can I put in its place? I can put another Veiler, I can put another Reaper, I can put God who knows what else in that place. So, peace out, YouTube, and I hope this was effective and helpful. If you have any other questions, comments about anything else, just leave it in the comment box, and I'll get back to you. And I'm pretty sure, hopefully, the other people comment and they can get back to you also. But peace out, YouTube.